Good morning, everyone. This is the regular board meeting of Pittsburgh Water for January 30th, 2026. The board did meet in executive session to get some updates on projects that are out there. And we'll start the meeting with a roll call. Mark?
Mr. Shuley?
Here.
Ms. Strasburger?
Here.
Ms. Lever?
Here.
Dr. Domock?
Here.
Ms. McCormick Barron?
Here.
Dr. Bay? Here. Dr. Leach? Dr. Fishbach?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mark. Do we have any speakers for public comment this morning? We do? Okay. Mr. Turner. Pleasant surprise.
How about that? Today is Alex Shirley's last board meeting. I'm not here to talk about his reign as the chair, but I do want you to know a little bit about how he actually became a board member. Prior to joining the board, Alex was a consulting engineer, a paid consulting engineer for many years. Those were difficult years for PWSA. The Blue Ribbon consultant described PWSA as a failed organization atop a crumbling infrastructure. PWSA was known for their crises, their lead crises, their billing crises, their infrastructure, their leadership, you name it, it went on and on. I believe the turnaround began in 2017 when Bob Weimer agreed to become the executive director with Alex Shirley as his right-hand person as a consulting engineer. Bob's philosophy was simple: GSD, get stuff done, although he said it a little more colorfully than I just did. Slowly but surely, the authority, PWSA in those days, Pittsburgh Water today, began to GSD. In 2020, Paul Egger, who's then the board chair, and I met to talk about board succession. Paul would be leaving the board in 2021. I would be leaving the board the following year. Paul said, wouldn't it be great if we could get a board member like Alex Shirley? I said, why don't we ask him? Paul said, and I still have my notes on it, Alex Shirley would have to be crazy to go from a paid consulting position to an unpaid board member. And I said, I'm going to ask him anyway. So we had dinner, which we did on occasion and still do on occasion. I said, Alex, I'm here to ask you to join the board. His first response was, I can't be a consultant and a board member at the same time. And I said, that's correct. You'll have to give up your paid consulting position. The second response was, well, if I did such a crazy thing, at least I'd have more time to spend with the family. I said, not so fast, because I've talked to the other board members, and if you join the board, they're going to ask you to become the chair. So in other words, he said, you want me to go from an almost full-time paid consultant to an almost full-time unpaid board member? And I said, that's exactly what I'm here to ask. By the end of the dinner, he had agreed to do so. I think I had to pay for dinner. But he said, I have one question for you. How in the hell am I going to explain this to my wife? I think I said something about sleeping on the couch might have something to do with that. But Alex, at your last meeting, I simply wanted to let everybody know that in dark times, you put the community's interest above your own personal interest. That cemented a place in my heart that will remain forever, and I wanted to thank you for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let's see, my wife's not here. She's going to be at the reception. You know, I can say it. Herb, this is like I can talk about her when she's not here.
I'll tell
But, yeah. But when Jim proposed that idea, it took me a few months actually before I could break the news to Leslie. And then at one point, she said, well, let me get this straight. You're going to do all the same things you do now, but they're not going to pay you. And I said, yeah, that's right, honey. And she said, well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. And she said, well, you're not going to do it, are you? And I said, yeah, I am. And she said, why? And I said, well, because they asked. Jim Turner asked, and got a call from Bill Peduto, got a call from Rich Fitzgerald, and then Mark Nurnberg called. So there was a full court press, and they left me no choice. So, but it's been a great time, and I'll have a couple of remarks at the end of the meeting. But Jim, thank you for your remarks. Jim Turner's been a mentor for me for many, many years, and truly one of the great public servants of the city of Pittsburgh. So thank you, Jim. All right. I have to try to hold it together. Everybody said, one of the young ladies said to me when we were at the pump station, she said, I loved your remarks at the pump station, but I've never seen anybody lose it at a pump station, So I'll try to keep it together today. All right. We don't have any other speakers, right? Okay, thank you. The next order of business is the approval of the meeting minutes of December 19th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes of December 19th, 2025, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. Next order of business is CEO approvals. All CEO approvals from the prior month are confirmed. And we'll move to reports and updates, and we'll start with the finance department. Jen, you've got the floor.
Good morning, Chair Shuley and members of the board. Included in your board packet is the finance report as of December 31st, 2025. Receipts through the end of the year total $253,062,512, which is 105.6% of the total budget, so over budget, resulting from higher than expected water and wastewater conveyance receipts, as well as the anticipated City of Pittsburgh charges. Departmental operating expenditures through December 31st, 2025 totaled $178,244, which is 101.7% of the budget. Capital expenditures last year totaled $208,290,914, or 64.4% of the budget. $88,570,876 in debt service costs have been paid through the end of the year. And in addition, Pittsburgh Water ended the year with 1.8 senior and 1.41 total debt service coverage ratios, which exceeds our stated financial metrics. And before I conclude, I would like to congratulate you, Chair Shuley, for your successful tenure here at the authority. I have learned a lot from you over the years and have truly enjoyed working with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
I will now take any questions from the board.
Questions or comments for Jen? Well, remarkable financial picture. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you to your team. I know Ed and Kevin and others are out of town, but just a remarkable record all year, not only in the financial picture, but all of the Penvest loans and grants that the finance team has been able to obtain for Pittsburgh Water, and the savings of millions of dollars to the ratepayers. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, next we have the engineering department. Rachel.
Good morning, Chair Shuley, members of the board. I do have some slides this morning, so hopefully tech services is going to bring those up. If I could get my slides, guys. Guys, can I get my slides? Thanks. So on the subject of GSD, I am happy to highlight some accomplishments of the engineering and construction department from 2025. So just go through some of the achievements that we had from last year. And go back one slide. Perfect. Thank you. So on the drinking water side, and this is all capital related work. For horizontal pipeline projects, we installed over 37,000 feet of water main, which is a little over 7 miles. Over 500 valves replaced, over 100 hydrants replaced. We replaced over 2,600 public service lines, which included over 1,800 lead service lines and 1,700, almost 1,800 private service lines, which included most of those were lead. And on the vertical side, a few of those accomplishments, we had substantial completion of the Highland Reservoir Pump Station, shown in the photo on the right, as well as the Landfill Booster Disinfection Building at our Landfill Reservoir. As we have celebrated extensively, we did issue notice to proceed for our ABC last August. And we also had final completion of a couple other projects. Not all of them are listed here, but we had the Lincoln Bypass Pump Station, as well as the Heron Hill Sodium Hypochlorite Building. Next slide. On the sewer and stormwater side, again, capital work, we installed 3,200 feet of new sewer lines. We lined over 15 miles of sewer lines, installed 69 manholes, replaced 290 catch basins, and installed over 1,400 feet of spray applied liner on our large diameter sewers. We completed our Braywood Stormwater Improvements project that I spoke about in a meeting last year. We brought, for this year, the first time, our Green Infrastructure Maintenance Program was fully brought in-house for the first time, the first full year, successfully. And we did make some progress with Alcosan on regionalization, as was presented to the board last month with that resolution to keep moving forward. Next slide. Some more achievements. We processed over 2,500 invoices. We approved 63 development permits and conducted 89 pre-development meetings. We completed 881 surface restoration sites, and of course, those are associated with the work performed by our operating department. As Jen mentioned, we had over $208 million in spending on capital projects. That is, again, another record. The team Pittsburgh Water has increased its capital spending every year for many years, so it's another record. And then we had $27 million spent on operating projects, including but not limited to contracts like urgent water and urgent sewer and surface restoration. Next slide. So lastly, in accomplishments, I just wanted to mention that throughout 2025, staff from our department gave technical presentations at numerous national and state conferences. Last summer, I shared some presentations that had been given in the first half of the year on a wide range of stormwater, wastewater, and drinking water, and just wanted to update on the summary of additional presentations in the last half of the year. We had a Giuseppe Scioli presenting at a national conference regarding best project management practices. We also had Anna Bennett and Doigu Altintes, who both presented at the Three Rivers Wet Weather Conference, and respectively, they presented on our hydraulic model expansion and an overview of a small diameter sewer program in Knoxville. Our team's efforts in sharing these success stories from our capital program are greatly appreciated. Next slide. Moving on, I wanted to highlight a particular project, our 2023 large diameter sewer rehabilitation project. I will be presenting a resolution on this later in the meeting. This project is located in the Sheridan and Esplin neighborhoods and extends from southwest of the PRT busway, which is shown on the left of the slide, probably a little hard to see in the back, and the Ohio River on the right. The pipeline does cross two railroads, CSX and Norfolk Southern, with West Carson Street in between. And it involves spray applied liner of about 268 feet of existing stone arch sewer, varying in size from 96 by 60 inches to 120 by 120 inches, plus spot about 400 feet of 120-inch stone arch sewer. The portion shown in green is the pipeline that was initially planned only for spot repairs, while the other colors, the red and the purple and the blue, show the portion of the pipeline that was planned to be fully lined. Next slide, please. Upon, these are a little hard to see, but upon dewatering the pipeline, when the contractor came in and televising that green portion of the line, we found that there was over 100 feet of sewer completely missing the invert or the bottom of the sewer. So these are a couple snips from the televising. You can see that invert completely missing. So the proposed which will be presented as the resolution later, includes creating a structurally reinforced invert with flowable fill, followed by a liner over that. Next slide. I wanted to touch back on a resolution from last month regarding Alcosan regionalization. So last month, the board did approve a resolution authorizing continued discussions and negotiations with Alcosan for the potential transfer of sewer assets. So providing a little bit more information, the criteria for those assets to be transferred to Alcosan are twofold. The pipe must carry intermunicipal flow, and the pipe diameter must be 10 inches or greater. So this map shows the assets proposed to be transferred in red, those darker red lines, and that includes approximately a little over 60 and a half miles of pipe and about 1,630 manholes. And some anticipated schedule of activities in 2026 include asset inventory and defect review, permit and historical records research, discussions with Alcosan regarding asset defects, cost, and the repairs, and discussions of how that transfer process will work and the approach, considering the PUC and other stakeholders. Next slide. Also, last month, the board asked about the location of the slides on the slope of the Highland 2 reservoir. So wanted to circle back on that briefly. When we get to that slide, it does that. So here we have the Highland 2 reservoir, which is again considered a high hazard dam, which is why we're doing that slope repair project. So we've got Highland Reservoir 1 on the right, just for getting our bearings, the zoo complex and the edge of the zoo parking lot, up on the upper portion of the photo. So I reported last month that at least one of these slides that we discussed in the resolution were on the northwest side of the dam. So shown here, they're pretty small, but on the northwest corner and on the west side are the two slides in question. There's some other information there for context, including 2 larger locations of historically repaired slide areas and locations of some seeps. But those 2 slides that were smaller slides that were approved in that resolution are shown in those corners. And those will be monitored and potentially restored ahead of the slope stabilization project. And I believe that is my last slide. Thank you. Also last month, the board approved a resolution for the construction of the 2024 large diameter sewer rehabilitation to rehabilitate large diameter sewers in 2 areas, one of which is in Frick Park under the Fern Hollow Bridge. And the board had some questions about the impacts to that newly reconstructed area under the bridge, as well as stakeholder engagement. So I wanted to circle back on those. That project in Frick Park consists of installing geopolymer lining on about 1,000 feet of 54-inch and 60-inch sewer. It's actually visible and runs underneath the Fern Hollow Bridge. Given the extensive work that had recently occurred on and under the bridge, we chose this project area proactively to ensure long-term reliability of this pipeline. So the work consists entirely of lining, and there will be no excavation involved. All temporary bypass pumping of the sewage will be performed internally to the pipe, so there will be no overland bypass pumping, and the contractor is required to use an existing access road that was constructed as part of the Fern Hollow Bridge reconstruction. So essentially, there should be minimal to no impacts to this recently reconstructed area. And then regarding stakeholder engagement, the property is owned by the city, and we are finalizing an agreement with them, authorizing us to use their access road. We've also coordinated already with Upstream Pittsburgh by sharing the project scope, as well as our flow monitoring and televising data. And lastly, we do plan to reach out to the Friends of Frick Park organization, as well as a nearby homeowners association, to inform them of the pending work. And that is anticipated to start this spring or early summer, and should take no more than 2 months at the most. The following project is out for engineering bid, construction management and construction inspection services for the 2026 neighborhood lead service line replacement contract A. Bids are due February 24th. And we have 1 project currently out for construction bid, 2026 sewer reconstruction. Bids are due February 18th. I'm happy to share as well that the Highland Reservoir Pump Station project has been awarded the 2025 Civil Engineering Award of Merit from the ASCE Pittsburgh chapter, and it will be recognized at their annual awards banquet at the end of February. So congratulations to that team. And I want to thank Alex, Ms. Chair Sholey, for your guidance and support during my short tenure here at Pittsburgh Water. I've appreciated that.
Thank you.
This concludes
Thank
my report, and I will turn it over for any questions.
you. Questions or comments for Rachel? Well, let me, go ahead. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
have one on
Go ahead.
the large diameter sewer rehab project. Is that one that would be subject to transfer over to Alcosan once the work is complete?
The Frick Park one, or the one that we're going to do, the one that I had so that is, it has to have intermunicipal flow, and I don't think that this one does, but I will double check that and get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Well, Rachel, just want to, publicly thank you, Barry, the entire engineering staff, on an incredible year. The projects that you've always put up there on the screen, we appreciate those slides very much. Every day is a wonderment in terms of the projects that you're completing and the projects you're working on. Just in our executive session, listening to Frank talk about all of the things that happened in the inlet gate and everything that we needed to do to just keep our inlet to the plant open. The public doesn't realize that when they wake up in the morning and they turn their faucet on and they get water, all of the work that's going on behind the scenes, our capital program and our operations and everything. So I just wanted to thank you publicly, your team, Barry in particular as well.
Very
And I know he's back there
He's back
somewhere.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there he is. Okay, stand up for a second, Barry. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. Guys, you've exceeded my expectations in terms of all the engineering accomplishments, and just look forward to watching, the future projects at CIP. Invite me to the ribbon cuttings. I'll come with Jim Turner.
Sounds good. Thank you. And shout out to Kate Meckler, our other director as well, wastewater, stormwater. Thanks for those acknowledgements.
Thank you. All right, next we have Chief Operations and Environmental Compliance Officer, Mr. Sederi.
And before Frank speaks, we think maybe some of the feedback is because multiple microphones are on. So if your microphone's on, you're not speaking, ask you to mute. Hopefully that works.
All right, we good to go? All right, thank you, and good morning, everyone. I'm going to say my thanks to Chair Shuley here before we get started. The address from the Chief Environmental Compliance and Operations and Ethics Officer at one point started at went down the road of getting our environmental compliance department stood up over 4 years ago. And with Chair's support, as well as all the other board members, I think we've done a tremendous work in the environmental compliance side for the organization. So I appreciate the opportunity to have been integrated into the board agenda over the last few years to share these remarks with you all. So we're going to stick with the topic of environmental compliance. One of the goals of our environmental compliance and ethics program is to detect non-compliant activities at an early stage before they could have a chance to impact water quality or compliance with our regulations. One of the ways that we do achieve that is through implementation of some of our codes and policies. And to help maintain employee awareness of our codes and policies, which include our code of ethics, our code of conduct, our whistleblower policy, as well as our non-retaliation policy, we're currently in progress with our annual employee acknowledgement again this year. It's something we've done for a number of years now, which is actually managed through and supported through our Human Resources Department and their use of our online Dayforce system to track participation. In addition to doing this with our internal employees, we also make our contractors, consultants, as well as our CMCI firms aware of our environmental compliance and ethics program and those codes and policies, and keep that as a topic on all of our pre-construction meetings. So every capital project we kick off, we are invited to those from an environmental compliance and ethics standpoint, along with safety, to talk to those projects as they get started. As part of that, I would like to specifically recognize a few of our consultants. First of all, Montelo Basin Engineers They've invited me again this year to present on Pittsburgh Water's Environmental Compliance and Ethics Program, actually next Saturday. It's something they've invited me to do over the last few years. They do an in-house training program for all of their inspectors that work on Pittsburgh Water and other client projects. But it's a great opportunity to go meet directly with them and shows their support of our program. In addition to that, AECOM, Hatch, and Michael Baker, again this year, supporting our engineering and construction team, who put together an annual training that we've done for several years. It's coming up first week of March, I believe, or weekend of March. And that's an opportunity for us to talk about environmental compliance and ethics with our construction inspectors, as well as safety presentations at those times. So I do appreciate our contractors and consultants' commitment to environmental compliance and safety programs as they work on our projects. Last month, I did report on some of the compliance work that is completed each year, all of the reports that are done. Mr. Domak inquired about the number of inspections that the group completes. So I did want to provide a little bit of a metric and a tally of those for 2025. So 365 days in the year. During that time, we completed 1,368 chemical storage tank inspections, 222 interconnect vault inspections, 180 water storage tank and reservoir inspections, 636 inspections of emergency spill kits, over 500 inspections of our MPDS outfalls and inlets at the water treatment plant, 195 inspections of our municipal separate sewer system, or MS4 outfalls, 105 inspections of all of the clean fill that we generate as part of our work and repair, so we look at those piles, 1,240 inspections of waste accumulation areas, along with 57 regulatory submittals to document some of those inspections. So the group is busy on a daily basis completing all sorts of inspections in those areas to make sure that we remain compliant with those. The environmental compliance team also has worked over the last few years to implement multiple programs to help divert waste from our landfills through recycling, recovery, and reuse. So in 2025, we were actually able to divert over 110 tons of waste, which included 134,000 pounds of commingled recycling, over 32,000 pounds of beneficial chemical reuse, 165 gallons of waste oil being recycled, over 5,500 pounds of e-waste, 39,000 pounds of pallets, wood pallets that we've recycled, and a program we implemented to actually reuse shop rags as opposed to throwing them away, saving 1,872 pounds of rags from the landfill itself. So a lot of work that the compliance group does to help with the organization. Switching to operations side, January's been pretty busy. We all know the snow and cold that's out there. I'd be here probably a long time naming everybody, and I'd likely miss somebody. So in general, I think I would like to recognize our frontline utility workers, our various trades, electricians, plumbers, repairmen that are out there, our operators at the plant, as well as our equipment, our heavy equipment operators and drivers, as well as their managers. They've been out in this weather. They were out overnight last night. So when it was 1 degree out, we had crews outside working on leaks, working to maintain operations at the plant. And they're dealing with all of the cold weather, as well as some of the snow that's restricting roadways. So folks that are having trouble getting in and out of their homes, maybe. We've also had, challenges getting to our crews to leaks or to areas that we need to repair to. So appreciate their efforts to continue to maintain that water supply to our customers. You may have seen or heard last week we did have some challenges associated with our intakes and some ice restricting that at the river. So real briefly, just an update there to help with the record. That really wasn't a typical winter event. It occurred due to some very specific weather conditions, which resulted in the development of what they call frazzle ice that formed 8 feet deep on our intake screens at the river. This was a result of lack of ice cover on the river, so the rivers weren't fully frozen over. We had extreme overnight winter temperature drops and a wind, resulting in some super cooled water, so it gets a little fancy, but water crystals, instead of rising to the top and freezing, actually were sucked through the intakes and stuck to the metal grates down deep in the river, and eventually caused that to clog up, and that was why we needed to have a plant shutdown to allow divers and other mechanisms to go in and clean those intakes off. We did accomplish that. We're continuing to monitor our intakes, and we actually had divers out earlier this week and are planning again for next week to continue to maintain those intakes out there. I'll wrap up with our December water quality report. We completed over 2,469 water quality analysis, again confirming that our water quality that we put out to our customers meets and actually exceeds all water quality criteria. And last month, we produced an average of 70 million gallons of water per day to serve our customers. With that, if there's any questions, compliance, ethics related, or operations, I'd be happy to take those. Thank you.
Questions or comments for Frank?
Oh, well done. So the super cool water, the crystals nucleate on the gook on the solid surface. That's
Yep, they get driven down in, and so the frazzle ice development, there's metal bar racks down in there, and those little tiny crystals will actually hit into there because they're getting pulled through at 70 million gallons per day. And water crystals doesn't matter, but they eventually will build up and kind of fill the gaps between those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
We used to turn pallets into docks. You guys put them back into service as pallets, or kind of, that was a lot of pallets. I'm kind of wondering what you do.
They work with a vendor that uses them generally, I think, for landscaping and compost reasons. So we do have to maintain clean pallets. We're not allowed to put, plastics and things in there. If there's paint or coatings on those have to be diverted. But the clean wood pallets are ran through that and diverted from the landfill. So
yeah, interesting. Yeah, a lot of people do this vertical gardening.
Yeah. We're not building furniture or bunk beds out of them or anything. But
thanks.
No problem.
Any other questions or comments? Well, since we're going down a little bit of memory lane here, the dark period that Jim Turner alluded to, when Bob Weimer was the interim director, he asked me to go to the plant. And he said, let's kind of divide and conquer a little bit. I'll stick with some of the engineering and administrative stuff. And he said, you go to the plant, see what you can do to get the plant, up to speed. And Frank was there. That's the first time I met Frank. And we went through quite a bit to try to get the plant up to speed. And every day when those meetings ended, I would go home and I'd say to myself, thank God Frank is there. Thank God Frank is there. And then in the middle of all this, because we kind of dumped a ton of stuff on Frank, we inundated him so much that we made his life so difficult. He said, look, I can't do this anymore. I got to do something else. And I don't think I've ever been more depressed in my life when I found out that you weren't going to be at the plant. And then you came back, work for a consultant, and now you're back, obviously in the role you have now. And it shows. All of the reports that you just mentioned that Mike asked about, and these inspections and the tons of things that you're doing from an environmental compliance and previously on the ethical standards, you've raised this tremendously for the authority in a way that I don't think anybody even could have imagined. And you've set the authority up for a legacy of excellence going forward. So thank you very much for all the work you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you're up next.
Thank you, Chair Shuley, and good morning, members of the board, stakeholders, Pittsburgh Water staff. This month, I am happy, is an Employee Excellence Awards month. We have 2 employees from the Technology Services Group that I am privileged to recognize today. First is Lee Leonard. Lee's in the room. If you want to raise your hand or stand up. Good morning. Great to see you. Lee joined our technology services team in 2017 as a network and systems administrator, and since then he's become one of our most senior technologists on the IT team, consistently resolving highly complex technical issues with speed and precision. I used to bother Lee with my easily solvable problems years ago by just restarting my computer. So Lee, thank you for bearing through that with me. Now I bother Herman on those things. But in October 2025, Lee was tasked performing a major and intricate update to our server environment, and this was a project that required extensive work outside of normal business hours. Lee dedicated an entire week's worth of effort over a single weekend to complete this update, and thanks to his expertise and commitment, we were able to perform the upgrade flawlessly with zero disruption to our employees and 100% uptime for all servers hosting our critical organizational resources. Beyond that specific achievement, Lee has played a key role role in implementing our GIS test environment. So working closely with our GIS manager, he has overcome significant technical challenges to establish it. And really what that has allowed us to do now that we have is that our GIS team can create a low-risk sandbox to make changes, and then when we feel more confident in permanently implementing those changes rather to the GIS system, we can do that. Lee was nominated for this award by multiple of his colleagues, Lee Haller, Jason Felser, and Paul Spar, who I think are all here today. A little about Lee outside of work: he takes pride in being a father, a musician, and chef. He enjoys spending time with his son, playing video games, watching movies, and pursues his passion in music by playing the guitar, which I didn't know, which is awesome, Lee. You'll have to play for us one day. Next holiday party, we'll give you the mic and plug you into an amp. But he is also especially smoking meats in the summer, and it's perfect because I enjoy consuming meats in the summer that are smoked, so I'll wait that invitation from Lee. But Lee, congratulations on your recognition, and thank you for your many years of contributions to Pittsburgh Water. Shifting gears to our second awardee, it's Herman Branch. Herman, there he is, hiding in the back. Herman is our Desk Technician 2. He joined us in 2022, and since then he's become an invaluable resource to our organization. He's highly responsive, exceptionally knowledgeable, and consistently resolves a wide range of technical issues that confront him and that our employees have to deal with on a daily basis. His commitment to service is reflected in the frequent positive feedback he receives through our post-ticket surveys. So our employees across the board recognize his work ethic, which is outstanding. He goes over and beyond, not afraid to stay after hours to assist our colleagues, and his dedication and professionalism earned him this nomination for outstanding work by our HR director, Terry Testa. So awesome to see that recognition from outside of his department as well. Outside of work, Herman enjoys tackling DIY projects. I heard he constructed a shed at professional level grades, so that's awesome. Kudos to you for taking that on. And he also does his own automobile repair and maintenance, so I may also take you up on that at some point, Herman. That's always good to know that we have another gearhead on the team. So congratulations to you both. Thank you for your contributions, and thank you to colleagues for nominating you all. We'll shift gears just to briefly touch on some year-end achievements. I know the updates provided by the chiefs looked back to I have to say, is another year for the record books. Record level of investment, record progress on the services that we're delivering, and a continued evolution of this organization that I am so proud to lead. Some really quick highlights. We will get these all in polished form in our year-end report, but do want to share with the board and the public. First off, our Safe People, Safe Water initiative. As a reminder, we kicked that off last year, and to do that, constructed a training system for all of our people managers. So we conducted in-person training sessions with all of those individuals to remind them of the value of employee safety. And looking a year back, the system and processes weren't in place for the entire year, but we saw record low incident rates regarding employee safety incidents, and I believe that's a reflection of how we're going to continue to build upon that progress. We also are building upon the progress we've made related to lead levels in our drinking water and lead service line replacement. We achieved our record low level of lead at 2. Compliance round, which was completed in 2025. And in addition, we removed, I think Rachel highlighted on this, but over 1,800 public lead service lines, which brings us, that was the total, all in since we started the program, over 14,000 public lead service lines replaced. We kicked off the water reliability plan in earnest, not just breaking ground on the ABC project, but also substantially completing the Highland Reservoir Pump Station project. And things are moving along at the water treatment plant for the ABC project. Penvest funding, Chair Shuley, I think that's something we're going to look back upon your tenure as a legacy, that our ability to find external resources to offset ratepayer costs has really been tremendous. And since 2018, we have received nearly $800 million in low interest loans and nearly $120 million in grants. The grant dollars largely going to our lead service line replacement program, but the $800 million funding wide swaths of our capital improvement plan. And just as recently as last week, we received actually the largest single grant in our pursuit of grants for lead service line replacement, a $16 million grant to continue that work and ensure that we're on track to get all of it done by 2027, which is a tremendous accomplishment and certainly a team effort in that tone, starting at the board to make sure we're looking out for our ratepayers. On the water operations and treatment side, Frank pointed out that, over 2,000 water quality tests each month. We flushed and inspected over 2,000 fire hydrants, inspected over 4,000 water valves, replaced over 500 of them, and replaced more than 100 hydrants from the operations group. It was also a banner year for our workforce development program. We really saw our workforce development initiatives get legs in 2025. We launched our first apprenticeship program for stationary engineers out at the treatment plant, and that apprentice actually just started within the past week. We're excited for that program. And Human Resources participated with partners from different departments in 10 career fairs, industry panels and workshops, including one held at the David Lawrence Convention Center that exposed us to over 3,500 students from 10 counties to let them know about the future and promise of working within the water industry, something that's really critical for succession planning in our ability to attract high-quality talent. I'm really pleased Jim Turner is in the room to hear the update on customer service and customer assistance, his legacy continuing at Pittsburgh Water. We now have over 9,000 customers enrolled in our bill discount program. As a reminder, that is our monthly program where customers at or below 200% of the federal poverty level receive a much lower rate than our retail rates. In addition, we've assisted over 4,000 customers in one-time grants for those immediate needs. Both water and sewer customers now can avail themselves of that opportunity, and it continues to be led excellently through our customer service department. On education and outreach, we participated in over 120 community meetings with organizations across Pittsburgh, including some non-traditional ones, the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, Carnegie Libraries, and the Children's Museum. We hosted more than 700 representatives when we had the U.S. Water Alliance's One Water Summit at the David Lawrence Convention Center last summer. It was an excellent opportunity to showcase Pittsburgh Water on a national level of everything that we were doing, and there was particular interest in our progress on lead service line replacement, a lot of attention and exposure that we continue to get from our partners across the country looking to replicate the success that we have had. And then finally, just in terms of our supplier diversity spend, something that Alex, I know you care about, just in 2025 alone, our MWDBE capital spending was nearly $90 million, and we partnered with over 106 MWDBE vendors. So something that we continue to track. It is included in your resolutions, and as Rachel pointed out, our capital spend, a little over $200 million. That is a huge portion of our capital program going to those business partners. Alex is having a reception later, so I'll save most of my remarks, but for the record, I do, on behalf of every employee, want to thank you, not just for your service as board chair over the last 5 years, but all of your engagement with the authority, the impact it has had on me and all of our team is undeniable, and we're just eternally grateful for the contributions you've given. So thank you, Chair Shuley, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions, comments for Will? Well, keeping on the nostalgic line here, tell a story. I'm glad Jim's here as well. Bob Weimer decided he was going to move on. We needed a new director, CEO. And if anybody knows Jim Turner, he's the most prepared person in the world. And so Paul Legger and Jim Turner asked me to meet them at Panera Bread across from the treatment plant, and Jim had his yellow notebook that was pages of notes and so forth, and we had a lot of great internal candidates that we were considering to think about for the position. And Jim had Will's name on the list. And he said, well, what about Will? And I said, Will's smart. He's savvy. He's a good public speaker. Seems to have a lot of leadership qualities. And I was going through, and Jim said, but there's a but in there. I hear a but, And I said, yeah, the but is he's young. And Jim said, well, how old were you when you were the director of the Department of Water? And I said, 32. And he said, well, then let's not worry about that. He's older than 32 years old. Let's move on. And then we finally settled on Will. And Will, how many years has it been that you're
It's 5.5.
And looking back over a long period of time, 5.5 years is probably one of the longest tenures of a director. There was a period we had 4 directors, I think, in 4 years. But that leadership that that you have brought to the table is just incredible. I mean, the list that you just mentioned, the list that your direct reports have mentioned, are all a direct result of the work that you've done. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to assemble the team that we have, that I rely on. It's been tremendous.
Been incredible. It's been an incredible run. So, I think, thanks to Jim's wisdom here, that we're ready. I mean, I was thinking, oh my God, but we don't have an engineer that's at the lead here. And you've blown right past that. We have other engineering support. So thank you again for all of your leadership. I'm going to miss our talks. Thank you. All right. We finally get to our business here, and we start with resolution number 1. Rachel.
Thank you. Resolution number 1, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2026 catch basin and inlet replacement project to Independent Enterprises. Capital budget $1,409,182.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Erica.
So I want to just note, this relates to some public testimony we got last board meeting in December. From my perspective, and I know this is shared by some other board members, that any contractor that we approve is thought of by the public as an extension of Pittsburgh Water, and to some extent the extension of the city. And the actions and behavior that they exhibit out in the field are a direct reflection on the authority and the city. And I know that that Pittsburgh Water is working constantly to build trust with the public, and in every way, shape, and form. And the staff here at the authority expect any approved contractors to take a similar stance and adhere to all local, state, and federal laws and regulations. And so while I will vote for this resolution today and others for the same contractor, if any contractor exhibits behavior that is disrespectful to the public, causes the public to lose trust in the authority and its contractors, or skirts local, state, or federal regulations, I will not hesitate to vote against a future nomination of a resolution that is nominating or approving an award for a certain bidder. So just wanted to state that for the record.
Thank you for those comments.
Thank you, Erica. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor of resolution number 1, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 1 is approved. We move to resolution number 2. Rachel.
Resolution number 2, approving the award of an operating contract for the construction of the 2026 manhole and point repair project to Independent Enterprises, operating budget $2,289,270.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to.
Thank you. Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 2, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 2 is approved. We move to resolution number 3.
Resolution number 3, approving an amendment of a professional services agreement capital for engineering services for the 4 Mile Run Stormwater Improvements Project to MS Consultants. Capital budget $197,980. This amendment adds engineering services to an existing task order, and it's mainly for additional modeling services, including extending ongoing flow monitoring collection period through this August 2026, to help inform our project model updates and validation. This is part of a larger overall effort to update flood risk data from 2019 to show how recent projects in the area have helped to improve the combined sewer system that carries stormwater and sewage through the Run neighborhood.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, we had a double first, double second there. Any discussion? Well, we've talked a lot about 4 Mile. We've had public speakers. It's an ongoing project that has changed. We've talked about the challenges of 4 Mile. I'm glad to see that we're continuing with the monitoring, so we can have some more information, make the best solution to this this project and this problem that we have. So, looking forward to the further details.
Great.
All those in favor of resolution number 3, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 3 is approved. Resolution number 4.
Resolution number 4, approving a change order of a capital contract for construction of the 2024 Neighborhood Lead Service Line Replacement Contract A3 project to Independent Enterprises. Capital budget $1,114,686.34. This change order was needed because more lead service lines were identified than anticipated in the Mount Washington neighborhood, and these additional funds cover the cost for replacing these additional lead service lines and restoring those sites. This change order also serves as a final unit price quantity reconciliation for the overall project.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Edification question. It seems like this is a pretty good cluster, or unexpected at least. The light may be dim, but it's getting there at the end of the tunnel here. What aspects of the program led to the detection of these lead service lines?
I'm sorry, what aspects lead to the detection?
The general program, was it self-reporting by residents? Was it discovered while other work was underway? Was it through the priority listing?
Yeah, thanks. So we do have a lead service line inventory that is based on a desktop review, historical records. We've submitted that multiple times to DEP as required. But then when we actually go in to perform these projects, we do a verification, what we call a verification at every single location. So we excavate a small hole to physically, visually confirm whether the service line is lead or not. I think we were anticipating to find about 25% lead service lines in this area, and then we actually found about 30%, a little over 30%. So that resulted in the additional cost beyond what we anticipated. We don't always know, and it really does vary quite a bit from neighborhood to neighborhood, and even within a neighborhood, there can be some interesting variations, and there's just not a lot of rhyme or reason. I think we're getting better at predicting as we go on and do more and more neighborhoods, but there's definitely still some variation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question on the unit cost reconciliation. Is that related to material good prices or construction conditions? What drives that?
So when we bid these projects, they're not a lump sum, they're bid based on, we think we have a whole bunch of unit items, and we estimate the quantities for each item. And at the end of the project, we do a true up to match what they actually installed versus what they bid on.
Okay,
That makes sense.
so it's on quantity versus cost.
It's on quantity. I'm sorry, I may have said cost, but it's quantity.
Yeah,
Quantity reconciliation.
Got it.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep. Good to know. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 4, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 4 is approved. We move to resolution number 5.
Resolution number 5, approving a change order of a capital contract for construction of the 2023 large diameter sewer rehabilitation project to Spinello Companies. Capital budget $805,750. So as noted in my brief presentation earlier, this change order will rebuild over 100 feet of invert in that existing 120 by 120 stone arch sewer. The price includes heavy cleaning, if necessary, and constructing a steel reinforced flowable fill invert, followed by a spray applied liner that will be thicker in that area to help ensure long-term reliability. Although this change order does represent a large percentage increase over the original contract value, we feel the costs are warranted for the scope of work that's required. I also want to note that the sewer in this location is about 60 feet deep, so accessing it for an open cut repair, traditional repair, would be easily in the tens of millions of dollars. So we feel this is reasonable for the work that is necessary.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion?
Can I add something? Sorry.
Sure.
I did confirm that this line will not be part of the assets to be transferred to Alcoasand. It does not contain intermunicipal flow. It just contains Pittsburgh water flow. Thank you for that question. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah,
It's on front.
yeah, thank you.
Any other comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 5 is approved. We move to the last resolution of the day, resolution number 6.
Resolution number 6, authorizing the condemnation or purchase in lieu of condemnation of 253 Brereton Street for the Brereton Landslide Remediation Project. This project involves the repair and remediation of the existing roadway and hillside due to a landslide that occurred in the fall of 2024 between Brereton Street and the MLK Junior East Busway. The removal of the house at 253 Brereton, which was condemned by the city following the landslide, is necessary due to safety concerns during construction of the repair and the elevated risk of damage to that house during construction.
Thank you. May I have a motion? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
That one just I think it's just helpful for the public just have a better sense of why this is Pittsburgh Water's responsibility to do this particular project.
Thank you for the question. We did a substantial, I would call extensive amount of a follow-up and trying to determine what happened with this slide. How did this happen? We did a pipeline forensics analysis. We did, of course, geotechnical review and a number of other reviews of previous breaks and repairs. And our geotechnical engineer's opinion is that it was due to a combination of lack of stormwater controls above the slide area, which would be the city's responsibility, as well as a small leak that had been occurring in our water line along Brereton Street. So we are taking responsibility, taking the initiative, understanding the importance of the situation. And we will be continuing to work with the city to see if we can come to an agreement on perhaps some cost sharing.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation, and it's good to hear also the authority taking the initiative on these kinds of things where there's a lot of responsibility that could be mixed across different agencies.
Thanks.
Good question, Jordan. Any other comments? All those in favor of resolution number 6, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 6 is approved.
Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the board this morning? Well, as we noted, this is my last board meeting, and just for the record, it's been an honor to serve as chair of this board. I want to thank the board, the staff, all of the contractors and consultants for making my job easy and enjoyable. I'm extremely confident that the authority is in good hands and will continue to serve the ratepayers in the most cost-effective manner. Thank you. Erica will be in charge from this moment forward. So we went through all the leaks in the executive session, and I said, let's just hold it together for one more day, in my last day here. So Erica, looking forward to your leadership here for the coming month that the board will meet again. As a reminder, the board meets in February, and at that time we have election of officers. But in the meantime, Erica will be in charge of the board. I also wanted to invite everyone to come to our reception at 3011 Smallman Street. There is parking, adequate parking. Everyone's welcome. And I think what time is? I think we're going to meet. We're pretty much on time. So you can leave at this point and go over there. I think it's going to be open. Rachel or Rebecca? Yeah, 11:30. So that may I have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. The meeting is adjourned.